So in this video, we're given the values of a function f and its derivative at 5 different x coordinates. And we're given a newly defined function, p of x. It's defined as the inverse of f plus f all cubed. And they're asking, what is the derivative of this new function at x equals 2? And so, of course, we have to assume that f does have a inverse, right? So let's go ahead and start taking the derivative of p of x. And I'm just going to rewrite it for this first part, this first step in the derivative. So I'm going to use two colors. So p of x is going to be the inverse of f plus f. And it's all raised to the third power. So this is just going to help us use the chain rule. Right, so what is p prime of x? For the chain rule, we do the derivative of the outside first. Right, the outside is the cubed part, so we're going to use the power rule. We leave the inside untouched. And with the power rule, you subtract 1 from that exponent. Right, so that's the derivative of the outside, but then we multiply by the derivative of the inside, which I'm just going to write like this for now. Okay, so this is the derivative of a sum. This is going to be easy, the f of x part. The derivative of the inverse, we just have to memorize this formula, right? I'll write it over here. The derivative of f inverse of x is 1 over f prime of f inverse of x. Okay, so just think 1 over f prime, and then, here I'll put it in red, 1 over f prime, and then you just move that f inverse of x inside f prime. That's a decent way to just memorize the formula. Okay, so we know what the derivative of this is and this, right? So left and right. So we can go ahead and plug in. So we're getting p prime of x. All of this stuff is unchanged, right? Okay, and then multiply by the derivative of this. So the first one is the derivative of f inverse, which we have a formula for. So 1 over f prime of f inverse of x. And then the derivative of f of x, that's just f prime of x, right? Okay? And now we can go ahead and plug in 2 and see if we can solve it. And we're going to find that there's one more thing we need to do. Alright, so 3 times, now we've got f inverse of 2, we're going to have to figure that out, plus f of 2 squared times 1 over f prime of f inverse of 2 plus f prime of 2. Alright, and so 2 things jump out to me. It's these f inverse of 2's. Everything else I think we can go ahead and solve for if we wanted to, right? F of 2, f prime of 2, we're given those in the table, but we're not given any values for f inverse explicitly. But we can find what they are, right? So what is f inverse of 2? F inverse of 2 equals question mark, right? We don't know what it is. So I'm going to write f inverse of 2 is equal to k. Alright, we don't know what k is, but if we do f to both sides, like that, f of f inverse of 2, well, the f's are going to undo each other, right? So that's going to be 2 equals f of k. 2 equals f of k. Okay, so what value of k produces f of x value of 2? That would have to be 0, right? So 2 is equal to f of 0. And then, if you did f inverse to both sides, that tells us that f inverse of 2 is equal to 0. So we found f inverse of 2, right? Let's go ahead and plug everything in. P prime of 2 is 3. Alright, f inverse of 2 is 0. F of 2, that's going to be 6. All that squared, multiplied by 1 over f prime of f inverse of 2, so that's 1 over f prime 0, plus f prime of 2, that's 1. Okay? So p prime of 2 is 3 times, okay, so that's 0 plus 6, that's 6 squared, 36. Okay, 1 over f prime of 0. What is f prime of 0? Alright, it's 3. So that's going to be 1 over 3 plus 1. Alright, so that's 3 times 36. And then this is going to be 1 over 3 plus 3 over 3. So it's going to be 4/3, right? 4 over 3. 3's cancel. That's 36 times 4. And that's 144. So p prime of 2 is 144. Right? And that is the answer. So two tricky parts for me would be, taking the derivative of f inverse of x, definitely. Right? If you don't remember this formula, it's going to be really hard. So remember that formula, just think 1 over f prime, and then move the f inverse of x inside the f prime. Alright, so that's the first tricky part, and the second tricky part is figuring out what f inverse of 2 is, right? We're not given a column for f inverse, but if you think about it like this, f inverse of 2 is equal to something, so that means 2 is equal to f of that something. So 2 is equal to f of what? So we go down here and we find, in the f column, we find 2, and then we just jump over to the x column, 0. Right, so f of 0 equals 2. That lets us know that f inverse of 2 is 0. And then after that, it's just being careful with your fractions and your multiplication.